Fred.
There we go. That's better.
There you are, my friend. There you are. I was just talking about you. I know you've been doing interviews back to back to back to back, telling us how you're feeling. And I want to begin with, I spoke to you last night and I saw you this morning and you said your wife didn't sleep all night long. You've been doing back-to-back interviews. What do you want us to know, Fred? How can we support you? How can we help you, first and foremost?
Hold the right people accountable. We keep talking about this as we in this country as if it's all of us who are putting us in this situation. When in fact, the truth is 90% of Americans want to do something about this problem.
Yeah.
The House of Representatives wants to do something about this problem. The president wants to do something about this problem. And half the Senate wants to do something about this problem. The problem is the other half. So we keep focusing on why can't we get anything done? It's that half of the Senate. The common thread has always been Mitch McConnell.
And so you know what? I think it is time for us to brutally call them out. Let's make this the voting issue of our lifetime. Let's get people to turn out in numbers like we haven't seen before, even though this is a midterm election. That is what we need to do.
I love that I watched you saying there's only one thing that can happen right now. And you were saying you want Ted Cruz to walk into Senator Murphy's office and make a deal. What are your hopes of that happening?
He won't. He won't. In fact, he's still planning to go to the NRA convention on Friday because that's who he is. So here's the reality. I understand that. I sat with him 3 years ago. Yeah. Me, Alyssa Milano, and another gentleman named Ben Jackson. And for an hour, we pled with him to go forward differently because of the gun violence. Now, that was 3 years ago when we were closer to 300 million weapons on the streets of America. Now we're over 400 million. And I blame him because he has done nothing but mock the idea of doing anything about gun violence. He has pushed the idea that we need more guns, even though we have just further armed America, even though he comes from a state where anyone who wants a gun at any time, for any reason, can get it without a permit, and we have no idea who they are and what their intentions are. And Ted wants more of that. And so, you know what? I know he won't go talk to Murphy on this. Let's fire Ted Cruz. Let's fire Greg Abbott, who also, rumor has it, plans to go to the NRA convention on Friday, who my understanding is actually went to a campaign fundraiser last night when he should have been with the community. Yeah. Let's fire these people.
Fred, we have a lot of people saying, you know, you go on Twitter, they're saying it's not about the guns, it's about mental health. It's, you know, that's what we need. And it's not so simple. In your mind, is it that simple?
So I can look across the world at any other country, and I have to assume they have mental health issues as well. In fact, I know they do, but they don't have the gun violence that we have. So no, it's not that simple. However, dealing honestly with mental health is one aspect of dealing with gun violence. The problem is, listen, Maria, you know the folks like Ted Cruz who say those things.
Yeah.
The next question to them should be, what's your plan to deal with mental health?
Yeah.
Then you get silence because they don't have one. They only say it to divert us from talking about guns. And we're not going to go there. We're not going to do that. Yes, we need to deal with mental health. 2/3 of all gun deaths are suicide. So yeah, let's deal with it. But we also need to deal with the reality that people who intend harm to themselves or others have easy access to guns.
I was listening to some people last night, a lot of people going, nothing's going to change. This is just going to keep happening. Stop with the thoughts and prayers. Stop saying it's different this time. And then others like myself saying, it's got to be different this time. We can't lose hope. We've got to believe that we can get to sensible gun reform. We've got to believe that we can get to mental health solutions. We've got to deal with what's happening with our men, with our boys, and it's all connected. So is it going to be different this time? What's your take on that? Or, you know, people say to me, oh, you're just like naive.
This one is different. I can tell you, I've been in this now since my daughter was killed.
Yeah.
And I'm very engaged with those who are needing to do something. There is already a difference today. Senator Schumer announced today there will be votes on background checks I think not next week, but the week after. They're going to give one final shot to doing something with Republicans to give them a chance to show they want to be on the side of our children also. But if Republicans choose not to be on the side of our kids, then the Democrats are going to move forward with a vote. Maria, it may fail. I get it. But you know what? Let it be clear to the American people so they have something to go vote for in November.
So I just want to say, so many people are saying, I've lost hope, I've lost hope. I want you to hear what Fred's saying. It's already different. He feels different. And to lose hope means we just give up. We can't lose hope. So how do you tell people who say, it's not going to happen? It's, you know, nothing's going to change. What do they do? How do you activate them? Because you're doing this 24/7.
Yeah.
This is your life.
I get my hope because of the American people, because I do go across the country and meet people who want this solved. And as long as that happens, there's only one more thing they need to do. They need to show up and vote. And if they show up and vote, we will be okay. Maria, I come from the point of view that we have done a terrible job of voting in this country. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean we've voted for the wrong people. I mean, not enough of us have voted, and so we've ended up with the wrong people, with some really extreme people. Mm-hmm. We can fix that. Show up and vote. We can fix it.
And all of us could do that. This is a midterm election. There was an election going on yesterday while all of this was going on, right? So voting in your local elections matters. Getting involved in your local elections matters. I think what I was listening to you saying, you know, that you were talking about World Central Kitchen going up to Buffalo. We should remember that there are funerals still going on in Buffalo, supporting people like the World Central Kitchen that's going to be on the ground now in Texas. You were saying that the first week after you lost your beloved daughter, you don't even know how you ate, who fed anybody, what it was like.
My wife and I have been talking a lot about that lately.
Yeah.
That first week is such a blur. I honestly don't know where the food came from, who cleaned it up, where whatever was left over went. I don't know who fed my son. I don't know who put food in my dog's bowl. I have no idea, because life was in a tailspin. But I know it all happened. And I know it happened for us because I do come from this wonderful community of Parkland, and they stepped in, they had resources. Not every community has the resources that Parkland did. And I want that point to be clear, because in Buffalo right now, they're struggling with resources and they lost their only market in the area. In Texas, they're going to struggle with resources. World Central Kitchen is now in both places, but this country, we put up a link. You can donate to Orange Ribbons for Jaime, and we will get it directly to World Central Kitchen, or you can send it to World Central Kitchen. We are working directly with them right now to make sure that these two instances of gun violence, that these communities are taken care of.
That's such a beautiful thing when people feel helpless and hopeless. Just doing that, making sure you're a part of feeding people who are grieving, who are in shock, who have disassociated from their bodies, who don't know how to put one foot in front of the other. You can be a part of that hope. You can be a part of that solution, putting food in people's stomachs, helping people. through Fred's organization, through World Central Kitchen. We'll put up a pin for both of those so you can contribute, which I will do, and which I would ask everybody who's on here. There's so many people on here. That's a really big thing, and it gives people, because also it's a big deal next week and the week after, right? We talk about these things in the day, but my experience has been that everybody rushes around the day or two later, and then a week or two later, you're sitting there going like, where'd everybody go? And now I really am realizing.
Well, that's, Maria, that's why I'm going to Buffalo next week, to make sure that the attention for Buffalo continues even after what happened in Texas. And I will go to Texas in a couple of weeks. I don't want to go now because, honestly, I don't want to draw from any resources that are needed for the immediate area. But in a couple of weeks, when things do settle down, when I don't want people to feel forgotten, when I want the country to know we still need to pay attention, I will be there meeting with those families as well.
Fred, you know, you have made this really a life purpose for yourself, but you have a family still that lives on, right?
Yeah.
For your daughter. How do you move forward? How does this not become everything? How do you, or can you find joy? Can you still be the dad you want to be in your life? Can you still be the husband that you want to be? So when these families think kind of forward, do you find yourself able?
Listen, I have a great wife and a great son. My son is 21, so he's turning a bit more independent, but I love every minute with him. And I do work really hard to kind of wall off time with my family as well. In moments like this with these shootings, it tends to absorb every minute. But when this isn't happening, I do. And listen, for me, when I can, my wife and I, we love to just get away to the mountains of North Carolina. I tell people all the time, I live in Florida, but I go there for peace. And it's a really just important part of what we do, because it is my way to recharge.
And this battle that you're in, that we're in with you, but that you're really, in my mind, leading, you and others are on the front lines doing this every single day. Do you feel like, you know, it looks to my eye like, gosh, you don't feel like you're getting the success that you want, the victory that you need to keep going? What keeps you going?
I'm always going to be a father of two kids. And one of my two kids, I will always be visiting at the cemetery. And as a parent, and you are a parent, so I know you'll understand the statement, we spend our life reacting to what happens to our children.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps me going. I am reacting to what happened to my kids. And I don't want another parent to feel what this feels like.
Because you have another kid, right, that's alive, that also is reacting. And I think what people seem to be feeling, that I can feel, is this collective grief in our country. Just this kind of situation, whether you've lost a child in a school shooting, whether you've lost a child a different way, whether you've lost an uncle or an aunt in a shooting, whatever it is, that we're all in this kind of almost suspended place of grief. Do you sense that going on in our country?
Yeah. But strangely, while that is true, I have this crazy optimism that it's gonna get better. That maybe we're in a really fever pitch moment now, but that it's gonna get better. And again, I think maybe it is because I've been around the country and met so many amazing people.
Yeah.
But as long as that happens for me, I stay hopeful about where things are going to be. And listen, grief is one of those things where we all go through it differently. Yeah. And for me, doing this work, is my path forward through the grief. Every time these shooting instances happen, we have new communities that have to figure out their path forward, but there is a path forward. At Jaime's funeral, my rabbi said, we don't move on, we move forward. And he was right.
That's so beautiful. And so for all of you and all of the millions of people that have been saying today, nothing's going to change, I'm giving up, I'm hopeless, please rewind. We'll put this up in the Sunday paper, Fred's voice. If he can be optimistic.
Just vote.
Yeah, well, vote, but join you, right? We don't, if you can't vote today, there are things you can do today. That there are so many good people in our country, and we're not as divided as so many people like to tell us. As Fred was just saying, the vast majority of us want sensible gun reform. The vast majority of us want to live in safe communities. We want safe schools. We want mental health out there, help. We want lawmakers who can get things done. But if you can't vote for that person today, right? Go and help Fred. Go and help World Central Kitchen. Go and help these families who are rocked beyond your wildest imagination, right? And then vote. I saw you put out a tweet that Beto O'Rourke, when you saw him kind of stand up and
amazing.
You said that's your hero.
Listen, in that moment, he was a hero to me. And to all of those who are victims of gun violence, as even if, like my daughter, he was a hero for her. Because that's a way of saying, I'm not doing things the way they've been done anymore. We've let these people go far enough with this. We're going to challenge them every which way. My daughter hated bullies. She hated them, and she would put herself in the space between a bully and someone being bullied. And you know what? That's what Beto did today.
And that's what we can all do. Look at that, what he just said, showing that we're doing something different. That was something different. What Fred is saying, we can each do something different today. So if you've never contributed to World Central Kitchen or helped Fred, do it today, right? If you've never voted, do it today. If you've never gone to a rally, do it today. If you've never written your congressman, your senators, do it today. Today can be the beginning of the new and different. And it's because of people like Fred who, speak to everybody, right? He's doing this interview with me last night. He said, I'm doing interviews up to 11 o'clock at night, Maria. I can't do one more. Get me tomorrow. You're everywhere, right? Because this is your calling in a way right now, right? This is for your daughter, and this is for every family that just felt like this yesterday, and every family who's ever gone through it. You're standing up and using your voice for those who can't use their voice right now. So I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much admiration and respect and love for you. And I just want you to know that. And I thank you for making the time. I thank you for, being optimistic, for not giving up, and for those of us everybody says, you're naive. We're not. We're in this together, right?